Right. All right, Shalom. Um, just 1 second. 1 second. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kudash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And yeah, as you can see in the title, Putin launches mass missile strike on Ukraine, calls it revenge. Okay, and this is some news that I woke up to this morning. There were different videos and tweets and stuff. I mean, just constantly going on about it. Okay, and pretty much a couple of precepts kept coming to mind. All right, namely going into Ezekiel 38, Isaiah 13. Okay, about the Lord stirring up the Medes, which today represent the Russians. All right, in Ezekiel 38 about putting the hooks back into the jaws of Gog and Magog, which is a representation of um turning them back. Okay, basically waking up the hibernating bear. Now, when the Lord said that He would do that, it wasn't going to be just on a note of okay, Russia is now not ready to talk about treaties and stuff anymore. It means literally, stirring up a warlike spirit within them. Because what's the purpose of the Lord putting hooks into the jaws of Gog and Magog? What's the purpose of Him stirring them up? For war. Okay, there's a precept in Joel that talks about waking up the mighty men. You know why? For war. Okay, so as you can see, this is an article here. This is updated 8 minutes ago from NewYorkTimes.com. It says here, and now this is interesting because um I saw also another tweet that mentioned the EU getting ready to support Ukrainian the Ukrainian military. Okay, now it says Ukraine's urge to cut down evening electricity consumption. Ukraine to go starts rolling blackouts in 4 Ukraine regions. Now, what's interesting is, like it says here, that Putin called it a revenge, or yeah, he says it's revenge for the bridge attack. I'm not sure if brothers have already seen it, but there was a video of one of the bridges that you can see like the fire and it looked pretty chaotic over there. All right, but now you can see now the Lord has put that spirit in them to where they don't care. All right, they're not interested in holding back. They don't care. They're not trying to hear any of that stuff. All right. So I wanted to start off here because this is an example of what the Lord said here in the book of Matthew 24:6. All right. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Okay. The Lord said there would be wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So we're still in this phase of wars and rumors of wars. Now, these wars could involve certain parties that are gonna play a role in the war of Armageddon. Okay, but it doesn't mean that these wars are necessarily the war of Armageddon just yet. They could lead to it, they could factor into it, but that's why the Lord said, but the end is not yet. So these things have to take place. But it's important to keep in mind that the reason that the Lord said, but the end is not yet, is because there's still other prophecies that need to be fulfilled, namely the MOTB, the CHIP, all right, before this war can go nuclear. But that doesn't mean that the Lord cannot build this thing up as that prophecy is taking place. Okay, wars don't always end up going nuclear right away. As a matter of fact, in the scriptures, um, I believe in see if I can find it in Joel. It talks about the Northern Army being removed. Okay, Northern Army, which is the U.S. Army, being moved over there to the east. Okay, and then when you go into in the book of Second Ezra, the 16th chapter, which I'm gonna get. All right, it talks about a draft. So this war isn't gonna be something that you just start the second the war pops off. Missiles just get sent right away. All right, but it's gonna build up, and it's gonna get to that point. This is the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 20. It says, "But I will remove far from you the northern army, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate." And this northern army is the U.S. Army. Okay, the north country. It says, "And will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the east sea, and his hinder part towards the utmost sea. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he hath done great things." And I believe this is referring to a region in Saudi Arabia, because let's actually look up that map. See, Saudi Arabia map, which would make the EC the Persian Gulf, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, am I getting these right? Yeah, this right here, the Persian Gulf, and then the utmost sea would be the Red Sea. Okay, so let me get a better diagram. Uh, let's see, maybe one with less. Okay, this doesn't look bad. Nope, nope, it's bad. It's bad. Okay, we'll just go with this. We'll just go with this, or maybe this one. All right, here you go. So the Persian Gulf and the Red Sea, and then going back to it, it says what? I will remove from you, far from you, the northern army, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the east sea. All right, which would be here the Persian Gulf, and the it says what? And his hinder part, meaning the back of them, uh, toward the utmost sea, which is, as you can see, the Red Sea. All right. And it says, and his stink shall come up, which is the stink is representing the dead bodies, because the Northern Army that's going to be removed over there, because that's still a part of the East. Okay. And this whole that eastern region there's gonna be a gathering of many nations over there, all right, including the U.S. Army. And so you're going to have they're going to call people from reserves. They're going to have a draft like they have it in Russia. Okay. And they're going to start sending people over there, troops, ground troops. All right. I believe they already have certain military bases over there. Okay. But they're going to send people over there. And when those people get sent over there, they're not coming back. That's that stink, because of the death and the corpses and the dead bodies that are going to be, over there. Because at the end of this war, it's going to be a whole. As a matter of fact, I believe it's the book of Ezekiel, the 39th chapter. It talks about how we're going to set up people to gather the dead bodies, and so on and so forth. All right, it says, and his ill savor shall come up, because he had done great things. So meaning that you're going to still have a portion or time during this war where troops are going to be sent out. It's not going to be just right off the bat. The second they get into it, nuclear missiles are being flown here and there, shot off here and there. Okay, so I mean, we have to watch and see, but it is entirely possible that they could, quote unquote, officially be at war or have a proxy war. Okay, while other prophecies are still being fulfilled. Okay, namely the MOTB and other things, so on and so forth. Okay, because the Lord does deal with things, one thing leading to another, but one thing also building up in the background. So we got to watch and see how it's going to play out. But the point is that with how delicate the situation is, with how if it's affecting a lot of things, okay, Russia and Ukraine, I believe the U.S. and NATO, the EU, they also mentioned how if Russia uses nuclear weapons, all right, in Ukraine, there's going to be a big problem. This guy Biden just came out and warned about a nuclear apocalypse. Okay, now the next precept here is in the book of Second Ezra, chapter 16, I believe is around the 20 something verse. Let's take a look. All right, but now guess what? And I mean, of course, you still have people that are, they're not paying attention to this. They're still going about their regular day-to-day lives. But wait till they officially declared on the news and say that, oh, we're now in a war, U.S. or NATO or whatever is now in a war with Russia. And maybe it may start conventional. Maybe it may not be missiles flying right away. But wait till that, because now you're gonna have these things, prophetic headlines trending in the news, trending on Twitter, trending on many places, and that's when people are gonna start getting scared. Their heart is gonna start beating. They're gonna start talk. They're gonna be forced to talk about these things. Okay. And at that point, they're gonna know that there's nowhere to escape prophecy. There's nowhere else to go but prophecy. And reality is gonna slowly but surely set into people's minds that, yo, we're really going to war with Russia. Like this shit is crazy. And that's when they're gonna start digging up all the CTs, all the conspiracy theories, and oh shit, and then you're gonna start seeing them TikTok videos just like they did in the past. I don't want to be a bad, strong, independent woman. I want to be a woman that's at home. I want to be taken care. I don't want to do, you know, me distracting the Russian troops. Whatever the case is. Okay, because Jake jokes about everything, but it's gonna be serious. Okay. This is Second Ezra 16, and I believe the precept I'm looking for is somewhere down there. We go. Second Ezra chapter 16, verse 33. It says, "The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms." Okay. Now, what's a bridegroom? Let's see what Google gives us on that. We all know what a bridegroom is, but it says here, a man on his wedding day, just before and after the event, right? So why are because a virgin hasn't, in a typical way, she's still a virgin because the bridegroom, as it says, is right before, right? So he hasn't really uh dealt with her yet. But why are they going to mourn having no bridegrooms? What's going to happen to the bridegrooms? What's going to happen to the men? It says, the women shall mourn having no husbands, right? Their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. So you notice it talks about women. So what about the men? It says, in the wars. Whoa. Like Yahushua said, what? That there's going to be what? Wars and rumors of wars. So guess what? This is going to apply to Babylon, but this is already applying to different places right now. This is applying to people in Ukraine. This is applying to people in Russia. Why do you think people are breaking their arms and fleeing, trying to escape the draft over there? Okay, and I'm sure there's women there who have lost husbands, who have become widows. Okay, because their husbands, as it says, what, in the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. So ask yourself, how is the bridegroom and a husband gonna end up being destroyed in the war? How are they gonna end up there in the first place? They're going to be drafted, because not every bridegroom or every husband is in the military. So how the hell are they gonna end up getting destroyed in the wars? Now you may say, well, what about when the war starts and they shoot missiles on certain areas, and then for example, if the woman and her bridegroom live in New York, and then they shoot missiles over here. So what how come it specifies the bridegrooms and the husbands? What about the women? If New York gets hit with a missile, you gonna tell me that only the men gonna die? Obviously not, right? So you're gonna have a lot of men getting drafted. Okay, Slovakia. You're gonna have a lot of men getting drafted into these wars, and they're gonna because where they gonna get them reinforcements that are gonna be getting sent over there to those different various lands? They're not coming back. And women, and women, not just men and women. You wanna do anything a man can do, right? Well, now we need you. We need you to go fight for your country. you know. Anyway, as it says here, it says here, going on, where we at, verse 34, it says, in the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. Okay, so you're gonna have people getting drafted, people dying from that, people dying from lack of food, okay, and many other things. But now how is it that everything that is happening in the world today, these are not usual regular things. Look at what's taking place. Here it is out of nowhere right now. We've been starting with our elders and apostles. We've been prophesying of, basically these kinds of things for years, right? And then it just so happens to be that the pattern in which the world is going in. We talk about famines. You start to see them famines now. They're warning about global food shortages. We warn about we prophesy about economic collapse. Now they're telling you about how the global recession is coming. We talk about blackouts and martial law and all of these things, and now they go. So anybody with common sense should start to see that. Yo, this is not by coincidence because you do it once, okay, twice, okay, but damn, everything you prophesied about is happening accordingly in the world. But as the Lord said, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, see that ye be not troubled. We're not troubled. We're excited to see what comes next because we know that this is all prophecy unfolding. See? And we understand what's going on. It says, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And when these things take place, Ezekiel 33 and 33, right? And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. See, that's when people are going to realize, yo, these men, nah, man, it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what I feel about them. They got to be telling. There's something has to be, something big is going on there because there's no way that you would be able to know these things with such precision as you do, okay, before they happen. How is it that you were prophesying about this over a decade ago? When this wasn't even talked about like that. How? Because of the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Before all this is said and done, people are gonna believe. They're gonna know. Okay, the Lord is gonna make it very, very evident. For some, it's gonna be too late. All right, but we're in that time. Is Ecclesiastes the third chapter? We're in a time of war. So as it says here, live updates. Putin says mass strike on Ukraine is revenge for bridge attack. Now, the reason these of course the Lord has them in that spirit, but the reason these nations are hesitant is because they know the state that Russia is in right now and the state the world is in right now. One wrong move will lead them. What did Biden say? And I think they asked him if he's going to send troops over to Ukraine. He said that's going to start World War III. They know that the slightest move is going to engage them in something that they can't back out of. Okay, and it's gonna I mean just super speed, all right, the world into nuclear war. Because somebody's gonna press that button. And it's gonna happen. But hey, we gotta watch and see. Okay, and yes, a lot of things are going on with Ukraine and Russia, but you can't forget about the other key players. Israel is gonna get involved in this. Iran, Turkey. As a matter of fact, there's an article here I was briefly skimming through from Zero Hedge, which says Ukraine war reinvigorates Eurasian power bloc, and it says the Russian invasion of Ukraine has highlighted the importance of the Guam bloc. Let's type that in here. Guam, not bloc party. What the hell? Let's see. All right. So we have here Guam Organization for Democracy and Economic Development. The Guam Organization for Democracy and Economic Development is a regional organization of four post-Soviet states: Georgia, Ukraine, Azerbaijan, and Moldova. Okay, okay, cool. So we got some names. Now, not really gonna read too much into this. I just wanted to see that in here. Now it says Georgia, Ukraine, Azerbaijan, and Moldova have expanded cooperation after the start of the war in Ukraine. Azerbaijan has openly supported Ukraine with humanitarian aid and fuel. Now, like I said, I'm not going to read too much into this. The point that I wanted to get, though, is down here, which says Putin's war in Ukraine has thus given Guam a new lease on life, not only intensifying cooperation among its members, but also attracting others, particularly Turkey, all right, which in the future could become a member, thus crossing the important lines or the important line between countries that were once part of Soviet Union and those that never were. All right. And that's interesting, right? Because we know that Turkey, um, Turkey is a part of, let me see, let me read this part too, is a part of NATO. But according to biblical prophecy, Turkey is going to be on the side of Russia. Okay. It says, and if, as seems more likely, the Russian war against Ukraine continues for some time, Guam will not only grow ever more in importance and put it in a position to aid and complete the final dismantling of the post-Soviet space, as well as the integration of some or all of its members into the European Union and possibly even the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. If that happens, Guam will have played a far more important uh, in the region than being played by the increasingly moribund CIS or CIS. Okay, so what we're seeing is there's a lot of quote unquote party lines being drawn. All right, but we know the outcome because it's biblical prophecy, and that's the standpoint that we're on. See, there's you may see certain things in the news, right, and where it may look like certain events are looking one particular way, all right, but we stand firm to what we know to be true, all right, according to biblical prophecy. Because as the saying goes, things aren't always what they seem. So let me just read a little bit of what it says here. It says, after missiles hit at least 10 Ukrainian cities, President Vladimir V. Putin warned in a televised address that no one should have any doubt that Russia will defend itself. And I believe they said that this is just the first episode. Okay. Here is the latest on the explosions across Ukraine. Kiev, Ukraine. President Vladimir V. Putin of Russia ordered a far reaching series of missile strikes against cities across Ukraine on Monday morning, hitting the heart of the capital and other areas far from the front line in the broadest aerial assault against civilians and critical infrastructure since the early days of of Moscow's invasion. Now, how do you think the oh so grand propaganda machine of the West is going to put this? They're gonna, because now Putin says this is revenge for the bridge attack, right? Now, do you think that's going to even be mentioned over here? They're going, which they're already doing. They're going to say, like this guy, Volodymyr Zelensky said, this highlights the terroristic nature of Russia. All right, and the point is, Russia is going to be painted as that evil big bad bear, okay, to rally people to justify why at some point, if this doesn't stop, the U.S., NATO, the EU might have to get involved because they cannot allow Russia to just do whatever they want and continue on this tyrannical invasion. It says Russia's attacks killed at least 11 people nationwide and wounded 64 others, the Ukrainian state emergency service said, and knocked out power and other key services in multiple cities. Mr. Putin said the strikes were in response to a blast that hit a key Russian bridge over the weekend, which he called a terrorist attack. He threatened further strikes if Ukraine continued to hit Russian targets. Okay, and as you can see, I mean, they have some pictures here, which I mean, war is a real thing. Okay, war is a real thing. When you're reading articles on them or you're watching videos about it, there's one thing. But when you actually feel or hit or hear a blast hit a neighboring city or something, and you see the devastation that is caused, and maybe you live there or you live next to it, is a completely different realization. That's why we tell you that a lot of people are going to bug out when these prophecies start taking hold of them, because these are going to be real things, real life things that they've never ever experienced before. Okay, death firsthand. Some people haven't experienced that before on a large scale. But see, the Lord said that what these things would take place. Okay, seeing burnt cars, you know, this is going to become commonplace because that's the times that we're in. So the prophecy is no joke. All right, it's definitely not the time. The scripture says, should we then make mirth? No, now is not the time to be making mirth. All right, and on top of all of this, you still have internal problems going on. They're talking about the Fed. There's a headline here that says, and I'm reading this off of my phone. It says the Fed has absolutely zero confidence in their ability to forecast inflation. You have this guy Peter Schiff saying that you should go and get gold because when the Fed realizes that they ain't no way they can stop this, people are gonna people are gonna start rushing to that. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of things going on here. Here's another headline: World Bank President Malpass says there is a risk and real danger of world recession next year, and this is by the World Bank president. So who is not warning about a risk of a recession next year? Or even a possible collapse. Who is not warning about that? And yet people still walk about, and I don't know what alternative reality their mind is set to, but apparently they they see danger, but they don't process it. Okay, they don't process it. They think that everything is going to be all sweet. Okay, here it says the Secretary General of NATO spoke with the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine and condemned the horrific and indiscriminate attacks on civilian infrastructure in Ukraine. But hold on though, one thing I don't I don't understand is what did they expect to happen if they launch an attack on a Russian bridge, and Russia just said that they're not going to sit there and allow you to do that. They're going to defend themselves. So what with it, the cause is never spoken about, right? Oh well, I mean you kind of did launch. You know what I mean? That part is never spoken about. But hey, here's another headline that says Volodymyr Zelensky spoke about today's Russian missile strikes. The world once again saw the true face of a true terrorist state that is killing our people. You see that? So they provoke, and then once a reaction is gotten, they use that as fuel. Okay, they use that as fuel to push towards whatever narrative or agenda it is. And you best believe this, because Russia and Ukraine are countries that do or they were known to provide certain resources for the globe, or for the globe on a global scale. So for countries like this and neighboring countries to be caught up in a situation like this, it's going to affect things on a global level. Okay, that energy crisis in the European Union is going to come to America. All right, it's going to come here. So um, keep that in mind. All right, but anyway, that was pretty much it. I just wanted to read a few of those. Actually, as a matter of fact, before I close it out, let me put these articles in the live chat so you can get access to it, because we're definitely in the time of prophecy. Okay, there's no denying it. If you are not in the mindset of prophecy, then you need to reconfigure your mindset, because I mean, what else would you be thinking about? All right, it's impossible to miss these things that are going on. All right, on the earth right now, and we are Brakatha Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. We're in the perfect position. Isaiah 33:6, and knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times, because we're gonna need a divine level of stability, because what's about to take place, remember, the scriptures say this is gonna be a time like never before. So we're going to need stability and strength like never before in order to even mentally survive this. Okay, let alone physically. So before closing it out, I'm gonna read this. This is Bearer of Yahushai 144. And also Shalom, Shalom to all you tuning in. Yahweh Bashem, Yahushai Brakatham. Second Ezra 15:8. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness. And yeah, because why is all this happening? Because it's a form of judgment for the wickedness of the inhabitants of the earth, starting with you Israelites. It says, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they exercise themselves, or which they wickedly exercise themselves. All right, it says, verse 9, and therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. All right, and that's what the Lord is setting up. So we are witnessing the fulfillment of prophecy. And wait till the last remaining prophecies hit, because that's when you're gonna see the Lord. I mean, the Lord is turning up now, but the turn up doesn't stop here. Okay, it's only gonna get hotter and hotter and hotter from here on out. All right. So with that, Lord willing, you are edified. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.